Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of Talkin Schmoedown. I am your host, Josh the Merc Raynor, owner here of Merc with a Movie Blog, and this is episode number 55, and it is a big one. It has one of the most anticipated matches that I have ever been, that I have ever seen, that I've ever watched, that I've ever had come across this sphere, and that is Chris Jericho versus Kevin Smith, and I am so excited to talk about that. But first, a lot of other things to chat about before we get there. So before we get into any of the actual matches, I want to talk a little bit about what happened on this past week's episode of the Schmoedown preview show. I don't think they've actually given it a name yet. The one with Jen Sturger and Brad Gilmore. I will forever call it Boats and Schmoes because that is what it should be called. Hashtag it, people. Hashtag Boats and Schmoes because that is what it should be. It was revealed that Who's the Boss will not be in the team's tournament. So logically, you would think that it would be the Founding Fathers. However, Gucci kind of makes it unclear whether or not that's what the case will be. I don't know if he's just kind of playing around, making us kind of sweat a little bit about it. But it got me thinking, what if Founding Fathers is going to split? What if Who's the Boss is going to split? There's a lot of stuff up in the air, especially with next year's draft being that managers can only keep 3 players. So one of these two teams is at least one of these two teams is going to be split no matter what. And so first it got me wondering, would he really just not put the Founding Fathers in? I guess it really depends on if they want to play, and it seems like they do. Whether or not they actually do, that's another story, but it seems like they do. But then I was thinking, well, let's say Who's the Boss and Founding Fathers are not going to be a part of this. Obviously, Who's the Boss is not. Who else on the Finstock Exchange would be a good combo, I thought. And I was looking over the list, and I was like, you know what? I would love to see the team up of the Barbarian and Sabrina Ramirez. I think that would be a really cool team to have out there if the Founding Fathers is not going to wind up being in this tournament. I think give them a shot. I think it would be really interesting, an interesting team. And it would give Sabrina kind of a little bit of redemption, hopefully, for what happened in her singles match. I don't know. Let me know. What do you guys think? Who would you want to see if not for the two main teams on the Finstock Exchange? Who would you like to see be in this team's tournament? Hit me up on Twitter right there, or if you're watching live, comment in the live stream comments here, and I'll put it right up here on the screen. I think it'll be cool. Yeah, because I was looking over it. I was like, well, maybe someone like a Gray Drake, but I think Barbarian would definitely be next on that list because I guess there are rumors out there that it's going to be the Barbarian and Bateman, meaning that Who's the Boss is definitely going to be split up. Whether that actually is true, I don't know. Now, that would be a good team, absolutely. But if they're not looking to mix and match like that, I think Sabrina deserves a shot at redemption here. And I think teaming her up with the Barbarian would be a really good move there. So that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think about all this. All right, so that's really all I have. The only other thing that I had in my notes from that episode was Coy's sheer enthusiasm for Kevin Smith is infectious, and it really is. He's just so thrilled to have Kevin on his team and have him coming in. So I'm pretty pumped for it. Roca and Sabrina, yeah, that would be a damn good pairing there, Jay. I think that would be a fantastic pairing as well. And again, it would give Sabrina that redemption that I really think she deserves. I don't know. All right, so we're going to get into our first match. And that is Marc Andreyko versus Matt Atchity, the android versus the kahuna. Now, when I was going into this game, I was kind of worried, does Atchity, has he learned the game yet? Because he's one of those people who I've talked about on the show multiple times. There's a handful of competitors who just didn't seem to understand the game. Now, a few of them, as we saw last week with Alonso Duralde and Jim Vejvoda, it seems like they're learning the game a bit more. So I was wondering if Matt was going to have a hold of the game. And I'll be honest, I don't think he's quite there yet. He's got knowledge. He's definitely got knowledge, but I still think he's a little bit lacking on some of the actual gameplay. So and that can hurt you. It really can. It seems like he has pulled back on his over the top character work, which I mean, I love character work, and we'll talk about a lot of character work when it comes to that Ghai Bateman match. But it seems like he's pulled back on that because he's had issues before, where his character work has gotten in the way of his gameplay. All right, so we get into round one. Marc and Matt doing silly hand motions at each other. It was hilarious. These two really they were really on the same wavelength when it came to kind of messing with each other, and I really enjoyed seeing that. It's always fun for me. And again, like I said, actually showing he's still not quite there with the game rules. He waited till after the count to ask for a repeat. It's not the first time he's done that. And these guys, they need to pay. He says, that there might have been a lag or something like that. He thought, I don't think that that's the case. I really doubt it. Mainly because we've seen it happen before. Unfortunately for him, we have seen it happen before. And there's not a lot you can do when you haven't quite learned the game. As a fan, there's not a lot you can do but just sit back and hope that changes down the line. Then we get through this round, and Andreyko gets a perfect round, easily scoops up that bonus. But he did use 2 JTEs during this round. That's a lot. You don't really want to be left with just one. That's a dangerous place to be. But the fact that it got him that perfect round, it's kind of a 6 to 1, half dozen of another. You know what I mean? It could be a negative down the line, but at the moment, it looks like a positive. So, Matt had a real rough first round. Ends 9 to 5. He's down by 4 points here. I mean, he missed 3 questions, and that can really hurt you. And he may have gotten that Brendan Fraser question if he had gotten to that repeat in time. I really think that he probably would have. But you got to be on top of the time. You got to be paying attention at all times to what is going on around you. So we get into round number 2, and Marc spins fantasy sci-fi. Didn't seem like he was too interested in that. Respins and lands on spinner's choice and picks 80s movies. And he seemed pretty confident in that. Unfortunately for him, didn't quite work out as well as he hoped. He only got 3 out of 8 points. Went to multiple choice a couple of times, gave up. Luckily for him, he only gave up 1 point in steals, even though he missed 2 questions. That could have been a lot worse for him. And he used his last JTE here. So he's going to go into round 3 with no JTEs, which is a dangerous place to be. Luckily, he technically at this point he's technically ahead, but Matt does have his round still, so theoretically he could have pulled ahead here. Unfortunately for Matt, that did not happen. He spun directors, and again he seemed confident, kept it. Not honestly sure why. Maybe he really thought he'd be good in this, but in this instance, he was not. Just like Marc, 3 out of 8 points. Steals there. I think he 1 point in steals, just like Marc did. And I mean, I know that these guys have a lot of knowledge. I mean, Marc Andreyko has been a champion, So to see these kind of mistakes happen, especially with Marc after having a perfect first round, seeing him have such a horrendous second round really kind of hurts, So we come out of round 2, it's 13 to 9 in favor of Marc. He retains that 4-point lead, but it's just that round was hard to watch. So we get into round number 3, and Matt misses his 2, and I am yelling "Save the Last Dance" at my screen. I'm like, I've seen that movie a ton of times, and I'm literally just screaming it at my screen. And he just doesn't get it. It is what it is, I suppose. But and then he could not pull his 3, so it comes down to his 5-point question, which would give him a lead, not by much though, but it would prevent TKO. And he nails it. He gets that 5, prevents that TKO, takes the lead for the first time in the game. And Marc Andreyko only needs to hit 1 question, and he does right off the bat with his 2-pointer for the win in a somewhat low-scoring game of 15-14 in favor of Marc Andreyko, giving 3 points to the rock star. Since this is a tournament, the points are 3. I as I did my notes originally, I had them all marked down as 2, and then I think in the last one, in the Chance Ellison match, he mentions it as 3 points. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then I had to go back and think. I was like, oh fuck, he did say that the tournaments would all be 3 points for each game, and then 4 for a TKO or a KO. And I was like, oh shit. So I had to make sure I went back in, I had to go in and double check the faction standings and see if those points lined up and everything. Yeah, it was interesting because I totally forgot, because there are other matches that happen later on that's only worth 2 points. So it is what it is. All right, this was a tough game for Matt. It really was. I know he's good, and it seemed like he was starting to have a little bit more grasp on the game, but he's just not quite there yet. I hope he doesn't, throw in the towel on it. I hope he does come back, continue to up his game, and make a real run at this thing next year. All right, so we are moving on to our second match of the night, and that is Tim the Tank Franco versus Tom. That's right. The strange being known as Tom. Whatever. Let me know what you guys think Tom stands for. I was thinking like the other monster. It's probably kind of lame, but come up with something creative. Send it in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys think the letters TOM actually should stand for when it comes to him. All right. So now going in this match, I heard several people saying that this was the most anticipated match of the bracket of round 1 of the tournament. And I'm like, really? This one? I mean, okay. Like, I like Tom and I like Tim Franco. They're fine. But most anticipated? I don't know about that, man. Yeah, I mean, yes, Tom is pretty amazing, but I still don't think most anticipated was quite where I was thinking for a match like this. There are definitely some other matches that I'm anticipating quite a bit, but I mean, I was definitely looking forward to this match. But again, most anticipated, I think that was kind of overblown a little bit. I think there's a lot of people, a lot of people who I saw saying it were saying Tim Franco was like the man right there, As like, I like Tim Franco, and he's done really, really well in this game. But I mean, come on, he's not an elite player yet. We'll see as time goes on. So as we get into it, Grace, she's there with Kate, because she's the manager and everything, and she calls the Quirky Mercs the Quirky Merkins. And I thought that was just I just died when I heard that. It was hilarious. Coy said, hey man, that's our After Dark show. And I guess if you don't know what a Merkin is, go look it up for yourself, because I'm not going to explain it to you. But it was damn funny. I laughed quite a bit during that. And then I wasn't sure how well Tom's gimmick would work digitally. It's such an odd gimmick, and having something like that done digitally, you'd think it wouldn't quite have the same resonance, but I gotta say, man, he did a phenomenal job with his character work here. It was impressive. And I was be honest, I was kind of worried that like Christian and Ellis would get pissed off with him for some of the the stuff that he was doing. I don't know, because you've seen them kind of get fed up with players at times doing certain things, but dude, he did some great stuff, and I'm glad that they didn't shut it down. All right, so we get into round one, and really the only issue that I had with round one was I believe it was question 4, if I'm not either 3 or 4, where Harloff, it's the whole Frankenstein question. You know, Harloff says, I don't know what he is. I thought he might be the answer to this question. It's a very leading response, and I don't think it should have been said. I'm going to play a little clip of it. Right.
What classic monster movie originated the line, "It's alive, it's alive"? I know Tim is alive. I'm not sure what Tom is.
I thought he might be the answer to this question.
Does he have a
5, 4, 3.
All right. So again, if you watch his character work, Christian saying, I thought he might have been the answer to this question is very leading because of the whole Frankenstein thing and the whole kind of, he is the monster that was created, by Video Drew. And so I was not a fan of him saying this. I don't know how anybody else felt out there, but I thought that this is one of those instances where the commentators kind of overstep in their commentary and could have led people to an answer, an unnecessary lead-in, and I really don't like that. Yeah, like you said, Jay, they do great at filling dead air, but yeah, they definitely need to be more aware of this stuff because it's not the first time that it's happened. It's definitely not the first time that it's happened, and it's going to cost somebody a match one of these days. And I don't know. I don't want to get on too big of a tirade about this, but it could easily cost somebody a match somewhere down the road. It really could. All right. So we end round one tied 6-6. And we get into round two. Tim defers and Tom spins James Bond and respins and lands on Julia Roberts. Does actually pretty damn well here. Gets 6 out of 8 points. Luckily, the one miss that he did have, which would have been a 2-point steal, was not stolen. Tim was not able to capitalize on that. And I guess that they're not going to... Okay, so there was a recent match where Christian, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if he was having a bad day, but he said, he was like, you got to be looking in the camera at all times. I think it was the last chance Ellison match that we saw because he had glasses on, sunglasses, and they didn't say anything about it, but he made this comment. And as I'm watching this match, I was thinking to myself, I guess they're not going to be sticklers for that because, Tom had his face covered for most of the match with his hood. So obviously they didn't care that much. I don't know what the heck was going on with Christian that day. I don't know if he was having a bad day or whatever. But either way, man, you got to watch what you say. Like we said before, you got to be aware of the things that you're saying. And if you're going to sit there and say, you got to have, your eyes at the camera, then that's got to be the thing. You know what I mean? Don't just say it because you're being pissy about something. Say it and mean it and stick to it. Otherwise, don't say it. I don't care if you're upset about something. Just don't say it. All right. So Tim spins historical epics and dramas. This is a new category. And I got to say, I would have spun away from it too. It's not anywhere near my wheelhouse. He respins, goes spinner's choice. And of course, he's in a similar vein to Mike and is super good at James Bond movies. Was even in the exhibition match for it.
and he picks James Bond, and he flies through all the questions, only has to go to multiple choice once, gets 7 out of 8, and takes the lead here 13-12. So right now, Tim Franco is in the lead going in. And that's usually where you want to be. But this proves that just because you're in the lead doesn't mean you're going to win. So getting to round 3, Tom hits both his 2 and 3. Tim misses his 2, but hits his 3. So right there, Tim is already down. Tom is back in the lead because of this. It comes down to the 5s. And Tim Franco misses his 5-pointer, giving Tom the win, 17-16. 3 big points for the Den, pushing them farther up the faction standings. Tom's character work, man, fantastic. So fucking good. I was worried that it might get in the way, but he has proven time and time again that he can do amazing character work and still stay on fucking point when it comes to answering these questions. It's killer, and I can't wait to see what he does next. It's gonna be awesome. I'm so excited for it. All right, so our third match, this one was something else, man. We got Mike the Killer Kalinowski versus Scary Perri Nemiroff. Oh man. Okay, so I love Perri, and I missed her. I was so happy that she was in this tournament. However, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think she had a shot at beating Mike, really. You know, she barely plays. She's done a couple of exhibition matches. Really, she's only had, in general, a couple of matches in the last couple of years. Whereas Mike's been, he's been hitting the grindstone with this game. He's been going, and he was on a high. He just won the team's titles. He flew through that Inner Geekdom tournament. He's doing extremely well here. So I was like, this is Mike's game to lose. And it sure as shit was Mike's game to lose. Oh man, I really thought he was gonna take this. I thought that he had this in the bag, but it's not always the case, as we'll see in this match. We get into round 1, rough round for Perri, and right here, 7-4 coming out of round 1 in favor of Mike. Perri has missed half of her questions, down by 3, and I'm like, oh man. See, I was like, I love Perri, but there's no way she's coming back from this. She's toast. Mike's gonna clean up in round 2, finish it off in round 3, and be golden and move on to the second round of the tournament. But we get into round 2, and Mike spins Pixar. Doesn't like that. I don't know if he's just not an animated film fan. I know that Pixar is like a strength of Perri's, like Disney. They animated stuff from Disney and whatnot. And so I don't know if he was just trying to avoid that, or if it's just not a big strength. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What is Jay? I'm honestly shocked she didn't win that. I had that pegged as upset match of the year. Yeah, I definitely think it will be upset match of the year. You know what I mean? It's insane, just because Perri just taking it home, man, getting crazy over here. It's wild. So like I said, Mike he respins and lands on new releases, and doesn't do great. He only gets half his points, 4 out of 8. Goes to multiple choice 3 separate times, misses 1, and Perri actually even gets a steal here, because Perri, new releases is one of her big strengths. Really is. She is a reviewer. She's a film pundit. She's always seeing what's coming new. And so it wasn't shocking that she was able to get this. He has a 6-point lead coming out of this part of the round. But as we see going in, she can easily catch up to that. And she does. Perri spins monster movies, and she wasn't feeling it, which I was a little shocked at, to be honest with you, because she's the horror queen, and monster movies. I really thought that would be something. Now, I know not all monster movies are horror, because as we see in some of these questions, you get like a Pacific Rim question, this, that, the other. But I really thought that would be, and maybe that's why she didn't. Maybe because she was like, well, it's not going to be all horror. It might not be in my wheelhouse. But she had to do it anyways because on her respin she lands on it again. But she answered all 4 of her questions. She did have to go to multiple choice a couple of times, but she got 6 points. And being down 3 in round 1 and coming out of round 2 completely tied, that's huge. That proves that, and I believe Shannon says it at some point, or somebody during this game, one of these games, says that it doesn't matter. Round 1 doesn't matter anymore, as we've seen. Round 1 just doesn't matter anymore. You may be behind, but you could easily come back and win it. And this is the biggest spot that we see that. She's down by so much, coming back up, tying it, and then going into round 3 like that on even ground with Mike. That's huge. That's so huge. And I think it rattled Mike a bit, I think because he gets in his head when stuff like this happens and he doubts himself. And so I really think that he thought, okay, he had that 3-point lead going in. He thought that he was really going to take it home here. And he just kind of crapped the bed in round 2. And he just fucking shit the bed there, and kind of, I wouldn't say gave up, but you could see that he was deflated going into round 3. And even Shannon saw this, she said to him, she told him he had to get out of his own head and stop doubting himself, and because you could see it, you could literally see it on his face. That's what was happening. So Mike goes in, he hits his 2, but he misses his 3. And so it's moved over to Perri, and Perri gets both her 2 and her 3. Comes down to Mike trying to get his 5, and unfortunately for Mike, he could not pull it. And this, I am saying it right now, upset of the year. There have been a lot of upsets this season, a whole lot of upsets. Chance Ellison over Robert Parker, Andres Cabrera over both Laura Kelly and Andrew DiMolanta. But this right here, I think this is the true upset of the year. I don't know many people who really thought that Perri had a shot here. But you know what? She proved that she has what it takes to do something here. And when we go over the bracket, you'll see that I think she actually has a shot of making it into round 3, maybe even round 4 into the final 4. If she pulls that off, man, that'd be some fantastic shit right there, I got to say. So Perri, bracket buster over here. Huge win, 16-13, giving 3 points to the quirky Mercs. What a return! I'd say if she can make her way through this tournament for a couple of rounds, I think she's got a definite run. She's a definite contender for a comeback player of the year. You know what I mean? Doing something like this, especially if she can do well. Yeah, I think so. And Mike takes these losses really hard. I really hope that this doesn't affect his team's play, because that it's going to, I don't see it being anybody other than him and Chance in the team's tournament. And, no, they're not in the team's tournament because they won the title. So when they have their next team's title match, I don't see it being, I need him to be on his game is what I'm trying to say here. I'm getting a little flubbered here, but I need him to be on his game. I really hope that this doesn't bog him down because of that. We'll see though. Anything can happen in this kind of stuff, as we see with Ben Bateman. Ben Bateman had a massive loss, but comes back. Didn't affect him in singles play. So, but we'll get to that. All right. So, at this point in the game, I am going to take a quick ad break. Let you check out all the shows that we have right here at Merc with a Movie Blog. So stick around, and I'll be right back.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean. You guys might know me on this feed from co-hosting Beyond the Screen, But now here at Merc with the Movie Blog, we have started a brand new show exclusively for video games called Game Over Screen. So join me every week with my co-hosts.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Brendan.
And I'm Tyler.
As we talk about everything video game related, and when we, I guess, get to the game over screen. I don't know, I don't have a good pun for that, but the joke is that we're going to die a lot in the game.
Well, you might.
Hey, Jay Wade here to tell you about SEN Afterlive, our SEN Live After Show, where we talk about, well, whatever Christian, Brett, and the rest of the crew talk about and the insanity that ensues. So join us each week here on the Merc with the Movie Blog feed on your podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube now on the SEN Afterlive channel. Talk to you then.
Hey everybody, Sean and Wade here to tell you about our new review show following each episode of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian.
Dude, yes, Boba Fett!
Not exactly, Wade. Set in the Star Wars universe, The Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi and follows a Mandalorian bounty hunter beyond the reaches of the New Republic.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Did you even watch Return of the Jedi? Never mind. Join us here every week on the Merc with the Movie Blog feed. Thank God Kaylin will be here too. I don't think I can handle Wade on my own.
Hi everyone, this is Sarah, host of Go Get That Rose podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to talking about all things Bachelor Nation. Join Jay Wade, a man in his 40s who is recently new to all things Bachelor Nation, and myself, someone who has been watching passionately for the past 3 years, as we review, share our thoughts on each episode of whatever show is currently on TV, whether that is Bachelor, Bachelorette, or Bachelor in Paradise. We might not even know everyone's names, but we have fun nonetheless. You can find us on Merc with a Movie Blog feed wherever you listen to podcasts.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Hey guys, it's Sean. I wanted to tell you guys about the new show I'm hosting, the Harry Potter Review Show. Every other week, I'm joined by some combination of Kaylin, Sarah, and one guest that has never read the books. We discuss one movie per episode and break down what we love about them, what we don't love about them, and the differences from the books to the movies. It's a ton of fun, and I hope you guys will tune in to check it out. Until then, mischief managed.
And welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Be sure to check out all those shows right over on anchor.fm/movieblog Merc. Lots of great stuff there and more to come. All right, so we're going to get into our next match, and that is the Cobra, Chance Ellison versus Diamond, David Del Rio. David Del Rio making his return into the Schmoedown. I got to say, I thought that before this match, I was like, Chance is on a roll here. Del Rio not being in it all that much, probably going to have some ring rust. But I got to say, after seeing that Perri Mike match, I was unsure. I didn't want to underestimate anybody. I was like, oh man, this could be another upset. Who knows? It really could. But we'll see how that all went down. We get into round one, and Del Rio misses his first question, but he manages to get all the rest. He picks himself back up, gets the rest of his questions. However, didn't necessarily matter since Chance got a perfect round here with the bonus. Yet again, he's done this quite a few times. Chance is he's a damn good player. He has been showing up. And I got to say, I will never underestimate Chance Ellison again. I did, especially in that Inner Geekdom tournament, those first couple of rounds. I have to admit, I didn't think he was going to do it. But he did. Never again will I underestimate this kid. He's got it. So we leave round one 9-7. Every single point matters. And I've said this so many times. If Del Rio gets that question, that very first question, then he has the opportunity to get the bonus. So missing one question can put you behind by a few points. And that's not where you want to be. So like I've always said, every single point matters, even if you don't think it does. It really does. We get into round two. Chance spins Inner Geekdom. And, of course, he keeps it. Now, there was a little issue that I had here with this one. It lands on the line, okay? Christian says that when that happens, the rule is that you go to the right. Now, I have never heard this rule before. Maybe I missed it somewhere. So if you guys have heard this rule, if you know of this, let me know. Give me a match that this happened in, because I do not remember this ever being a rule. Now, what I do remember are multiple matches where this has happened, where it has landed on the line, and they have spun it again. That was the precedent that I was aware of, that I was under the assumption would be the case here when this happened. But saying that the rule is that it goes to the right, and it just happened to be the inner geekdom slice, I wasn't a big fan of that. I really, really wasn't. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, if one of you out there knows where this rule, well, the precedent for this rule has been set, let me know. Otherwise, this is another one of those cases where it's a rule that is set behind the scenes that us fans have no idea about until it comes up like this. You know what I mean? And that's because there's no rule book. And I have talked about this so many fucking times, that it's reasons like this that we need a rule book, or at least just something. You know, here are the rules. They may expand. They may be subject to change, but they will be updated as that happens. But just something so that we can see, okay, so on live.com. Okay, here are the rules. Oh, okay, here's the rule about if it's on the line. Okay, maybe it was different before, but they changed it. All right, but at least it's there, and I would have been able to see it. But there's nothing. It's nowhere. The rules are nowhere, and that is a big problem that I've always had. And I know that my buddy Jay Wade, right here. Oh yeah, preaching it to you, baby. He knows what I'm talking about, because he's done it. He's gone off about this so many times too, especially recently, because it leads to rules inconsistency, and it's such a problem. And when you have big matches like a Kevin Smith and a Chris Jericho, you're going to bring in people who have no idea who the Schmoes are, who Christian is, who Harloff is, or who Ellis is, who John Roca is, who Dan Murrell is, who any of these people are. Like, they have no clue who these people are. All they know is, oh shit, I'm a wrestling fan. That's Chris Jericho. I want to see what the fuck is up here. Or fuck, I've seen all of Kevin Smith's movies. I want to see what he's doing over on this thing. Movie trivia seems kind of neat. Let's check it out. And then they start watching it, and rules aren't being followed like the way that, and it can cost people matches. And it's just, I feel like it's going to be problematic for people like that. They're not going to give you the leeway because they don't know who you are. They're just going to be like, this is shit. And they're just going to take off, you know, and that's just the way it is, you know. Unfortunately, you know, that's the way it is. If you don't want to fix that, that's your call. It's your league, Harloff. It's not mine. I'm not going to start one. But if you want to grow, you know what you need to do to grow. And I know you know what you got to do. But anyways, I've gone on with that so many fucking times. It's ridiculous. I'll probably wind up talking about it every goddamn show because of shit that happens. It's just the way it is. So, like I said, Chance spins Inner Geekdom and sticks with it, which, of course, he sticks with it. Why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? He just fucking won the Inner Geekdom tournament. Why would he not stick with the Inner Geekdom slice? That's his bread and butter right there. Or so you'd think it's his bread and butter, as he doesn't do as good as expected here. Only gets 5 out of 8 points. Has to go to multiple choice twice and misses one of those, giving up a 1 point steal to Del Rio. So, I mean, maybe not quite where you need to be when it comes to that, but we'll save that for another day. So David Del Rio goes and he spins and lands on Drama and stays. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I know he's an actor and all this stuff, but I was a little shocked. You don't see that often. People don't tend to stick with dramas just because of how broad of a category drama is. It's one of the broadest categories that there is, just because of the sheer number of films that are categorized as a drama. But he does fairly well. He does 6 out of 8 points here. He does miss one on multiple choice, but Chance was not able to steal it, so he didn't. It didn't cause a gap because of that, and because of this, Del Rio manages to tie it up. So, like I said in the previous match, round 1 doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to matter much anymore in some of these games, because you get into round 2, you may be behind, but you get into round 2 and bam, now all of a sudden you're tied. So it is, what it is, as I seem to like to say a lot, because there's nothing else that you could really say about it. It's unfortunately for some players, they just don't get good spins, or they just fall a little bit outside of their wheelhouse, even if it's something that they should be great at. They just fall a little bit outside of that right there. And right now it seems, if you're watching this match and you already watched that Mike Perri match, it seems to be going the same route. You had the underdog player who was behind in round 1, comes up and ties it in round 2, which is exactly what happened with Mike and Perri. And we all saw what happened there. Perri pulled ahead and wound up winning. So at this point in the game, I'm like, oh shit, maybe we're going to see another upset here. I mean, fuck, you never know. It could easily happen. But we get into round 3. Both Chance and Del Rio hit their 2s and their 3s, but are not able to get their 5s, sending it in to sudden death. So already it's a little different than that Mike Perri match, but hey, sudden death means it could swing either way. You just never know. We get into sudden death. We go 2 rounds in, and Chance pulls out the win. Del Rio not able to answer the second question, and Chance gets 3 big points for corruption, winning 21-20. So he did not fall to the wayside the way Mike unfortunately did. He was able to stick it out and move on to round 2. Del Rio did really well, I thought. Like I said, he only missed 1 question in round 1. He only missed 1 question in round 2. He did pick up a steal from Chance. And so then he only missed his 5. So he actually did really well, and so I really think he's got a place here. I really do. Whether he has the time or whether he's got the determination to really make this a thing, we'll see. But I would totally be down for seeing him come back, do some more matches next year. And after the match ended, Chance said something here. I pulled out a video clip of this. He made a claim that he was the first to win a match in 3 divisions in the same season. Check out this clip.
Did what I said I was going to do. I got past round. I'm going to round 2, and I'm happy to be the first player to win a match in 3 divisions in the same season.
It's wrong. Whether he knows that or not, if he does know that it's wrong, then it was a bold-faced lie. Otherwise, he just is apparently unaware of something that was talked about for the first fucking half of the season, and that is Ben Goddard has already done this. Ben Goddard won a singles match in February, went on to win teams matches in both March and May, and then won an Intergeekdom match in June. He was undefeated in 3 divisions at that point. He had 4 matches. He had won all 4 matches in those 3 divisions. So, I don't know if Chance just didn't realize that Ben had done it first, or if he didn't care and was trying to rewrite history. Either way, sorry, dude, you were wrong. You were second, not first. It was already done. Yeah. And then the last thing about this match, I gotta wonder. I've wondered this about in previous times. Is the heat between Roxy and Shannon real? Because they do a fucking superb job of making it seem like it's real. You know, I just part of me hopes that it's not, just because that would mean that they are that fucking good. And yeah, I don't know. It's fantastic stuff. If it is, it's some great character work. And but if it is real, holy shit, that's some hot heat. All right, so that wraps up all of the matches for the Ultimate Schmoedown Singles Tournament. Before we get into the throwdown, I'm going to bring up the bracket here. We're going to kind of take a quick look at that. So we've got Lon Harris, Brendan Meyer, Marc Andreyko, and Chance Ellison on the left side, who have made their way into round 2. Brendan Meyer and Marc Andreyko are one match that is actually set. The other two have yet to have their competitors. Again, technically, Chance Ellison's competitor has been set because they played yesterday. It was the match between Liz Shannon Miller and Rachel Silvestrini. So the winner of that, which I'm not going to spoil here, the winner of that is going to be facing off against Chance. And then on the right-hand side, we got Eric Zipper, Jader Paramo, Tom, and Perri Nemiroff. Tom and Jader are matched up. And then we've got Eric Zipper and Perri Nemiroff, who have yet to have their opponents decided as of yet, but they will at least see Perry's will be later this week, and then we'll have a couple other people popping up, and then the following week is when we'll get the last set of matches, and we'll have a full set for round 2. That'll be, we'll know exactly who will be in round 2. After next week's matches go down. All right. So now it is time to get into the Schmoedown Throwdown. That is right. And first up is Ben Bateman, Andrew Ghai, the rematch, Team Action Civil War Part 2. That is right. The crazy ass debonair of Andrew Ghai over here spouting off about the Schmoeminati, hashtag Schmoeminati. I made this little banner during my my watching Schmoedown vid, and I decided I'm going to keep that shit, because who the hell knows when that's going to pop up again. I'm going to use it. But yeah, the fucking Schmoeminati of Andrew Ghai taking on Ben the Boss Bateman yet again. They first time that they're meeting up since their battle at Houston last year, where Ghai got destroyed by Ben in more ways than one. Both in gameplay and in physicality, got destroyed. So leading up to this match, Ghai had some of the absolute best character work I have ever seen. Like, it's fucking ridiculous how good this dude's character work has gotten. It's the kind of character work that, I'll be honest with you, needs to be like on his acting reel because of how good it's been. But the question is, has it been too much? Was it too much coming into this match that it distracted him from the game? It's possible. And there are some instances that I'll talk about where I think that may be the case. So, you know, we're leading into the match. Guy's on screen. He's fucking talking to his tie. At first, I was like, what the fuck is he holding? And I realized it was just his fucking tie. But he's talking to his tie, he's like tripping over the chairs and shit, falling all over the place, wearing fucking gym shorts. And it's like, hey, man, I rock gym shorts all the time, but, you know, you're supposed to be debonair. You're a dude in a suit. What are you doing? You're crazy, man, now. Yeah, it was something else to see. And I gotta say, like I was saying, I really think he's going a little too far inside the match. Leading up to it, doing promos, things like that, that's fine. That's fantastic. And as you can see, he didn't want to let up. I don't know what the deal was, but he was committed to this character. Super committed. And I think it was a detriment to him. I really, really do. Right before the match starts, Ghai holds up a sign real quick. It was like, and it says "Help me." I thought that was pretty damn funny. Or I think it just said "Help," but it was really funny. I really dug that. And then we got into round 1, and like I said, I think it interfered with his gameplay because he does not do well here. He only gets 4 points, but I gotta say, I fucking burst out laughing during that comedy category when Ghai just had a burst of laughter. I had one too, just because of what he did there. It was fucking ridiculous, and I loved it. And I'll be honest, I kind of hope more people do shit like that. But it fit his character. But again, it was a real rough round for him. He got 4 points. Ben got a perfect fucking round here. With the bonus. 9-4. That's a deficit. Now, I understand. I've been sitting here saying round 1 doesn't necessarily matter, but 5 fucking points, man. That's a lot. And with the way he was playing, I didn't think it was going to get much better. And honestly, it did not. We get into round 2. Ben defers and Ghai spins Tim Burton and stays. Now, my question here, was he actually confident or was he just playing the part? You know what I mean? Because he obviously didn't do good here. Now, I think he may have been able to do better without the character work. And I'll get into some of that stuff here in a moment, but maybe he should have just taken a different one that might have been a little bit easier for him. I don't know. I just, this whole match is so fucking screwy. It's weird, man. So question 2 is one that I want to talk about. Ghai doing like weird shit with his hands and whatnot, and he wasn't really paying attention. Wasn't paying attention to the question, and he misheard the question and answered incorrectly. And he knew the answer. If he had been focused and listening, he would have gotten it, but he didn't. So he gave up a 2-point steal there. Then question 3, again, I don't think he was really paying attention all that much because Ellis says the name of the character in the question, and Ghai was ready to challenge it because there were 2 characters like this in the movie. One of them was an older guy. One of them was played by Jason Schwartzman, but he literally says the name. So like, I don't know if Ghai knew the name of that character, but he knew that one of them was Jason Schwartzman. And so I don't know. I think he could have probably gotten an educated guess with that and gotten another 2 points, but instead he went multiple choice and wound up getting just the 1. Then we get to the last question. Ghai seemed pretty rattled after those previous 2 questions, and he just blurted out an answer instead of taking his time, thinking about it, and possibly going to multiple choice. And this resulted in another 2-point steal here. Ghai wound up with only 3 out of 8 points, but he gave away 4. The fact that Ben Bateman got more points in Ghai's round than Ghai got is ridiculous. I don't like. I love his character work, like I've said, but fuck, man, it screwed you. It really did. And I hope that you weren't just playing nonchalantly because of this. This was huge. This is a fucking number 1 contenders match, dude. I don't know. I don't know if part of me wonders if Ghai actually even wants to be in the Schmoedown anymore. You know what I mean? He almost retired before, and he's playing like this. Part of me wonders if he just wants his career to tank so that he can just be done and go on and do, the rest of his stuff, not even have to worry about it. I don't know. You'd think that you would rather just retire, gracefully or on top or something, but I don't know, man. I have a hard time figuring this guy out. So he's down by 6 here with Ben still needing to go. And that's ridiculous. Like, I'll be honest, if you watch my watch along, I kind of forgot that Ben still had to go. I was sitting here thinking, okay, he's down by 6. It's still possible. It's not as bad as you think. He could theoretically still win in round 3. Nope. So Ben spins Harrison Ford, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'll take it. And this fucking guy, he just cleans house, man. In the first question, or the third question, Sam challenges Ben's answer, which was the Anne Hesh thing. He challenges that it's never been mispronounced as Anne Hesh. It's always Anne Hesh. But they overturn it. But I'll be honest with you, I think Ben should have had to have written it down. He mispronounced it. And they've done it before where if something is mispronounced or like that they have to write it down to make sure to prove that they actually know the answer. You know what I mean? And so part of me really believes that Ben should have had to have written this one down. I don't know. It's such a tough one because people mispronounce names all the time, but it comes back to rules. What should the rule really be? Where should that precedent sit with cases like this? And I think that we need to have a set rule so that we just know, okay, either pronunciations, as long as they're close, are fine, or they have to be pronounced right. And if they're not pronounced right, then they have to write it down. Something, just something for us fans to know so that when we're watching this, there's not all this deep-seated controversy that goes on inside a lot of these matches. Okay, so we get into the last question, and it's ready for a knockout here. And I realized that all Ben had to do was go to multiple choice. Yes, I do think Sam was correct in challenging that. I really do. I think he was spot on with it. And again, I think that Ben should have had to have written it down. I really do. But with that last question, all Ben had to do was kick to multiple choice, and that was an instant win because he could have gone to multiple choice and gotten it or missed it and had it stolen, and it wouldn't have fucking mattered. He would have won. So theoretically, Ben could have guaranteed himself the win by checking the multiple choice, even if he knew the answer, because it wouldn't have mattered. Obviously, he didn't here. He answers the question, gets the 2 points, and we get the fucking knockout here. It's fucking insane. Another knockout between, that's what happened at Houston. I think it was 19-5 or some insane shit like that, I think is what it was, which is the same spread here, 21-7. But part of me is a little shocked that he didn't take the guaranteed win. I mean, I guess you know the answer. You want more points. It gets your stats up higher. But, being that guy, he could have just been multiple choice. All right, I'm out. Or, said some stupid, he'd be like, oh, the answer is Ghai lost this match. You know what I mean? Something like that. It would have kind of jabbed it to him, but I don't think he wanted to jab it to him, but it still would have been a little bit funny. On a side note about this last question, when I was rewatching this to take notes, because I did this whole match or this whole event as a watch along, and so while I was doing the watch along, I wasn't taking notes, so I had to rewatch it so I could take closer notes here. My 5-year-old was in the room; she was sitting on the floor playing with some toys, and they asked this question, and she perks up and she says, Secret Life of Pets 2 before anybody else answered. It was fun because all she heard was a dog named Rooster. And she knew exactly what it was. And she was like, Secret Life of Pets 2. I was like, holy shit, kid. That was awesome. It was my favorite part of rewatching this whole thing. But fuck, man, what a game. 3 more points for the Finstock Exchange. Especially after that last week's throwdown. They had a rough throwdown last week, but coming back, getting some points, making sure that they don't fall too far behind in the rankings. I think this was a damn good win for the Exchange. Ben had a perfect game here. 100% of available points were gotten by Ben. He didn't go to multiple choice in round 2. He got both of the steals. He got the bonus question, all 8 the normal questions in round 1. Motherfucker got a perfect game. And according to Repeat the Question, which is another podcast out there. They have a website and everything. Apparently, nobody has ever gotten a 100% perfect game. I was like, holy fuck. That's wild that Ben did this. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of sad that Ghai didn't do better and take him into round 3, because I would have loved to have seen if Ben could have gotten all 3 of his round 3 questions and had another had a true perfect game, like every question asked 100% complete total on all of the questions asked. Dude, man, that would have been fucking stellar right there. Yeah, so now Ben will go on to play Dan Murrell for the title in this month in 10 days, I think, on September 11th. It's going to be a good match, man. I'm excited for it. Ghai said that he thinks that Sam should trade or drop him. It's stuff like that makes me wonder if Ghai even wants to be in the Schmoedown anymore. I understand that he maybe is a little defeated about his performance, but dude, it's not the first time that he's threatened like retirement kind of stuff. So I don't know if he's 100% here anymore, and that's sad. Harloff asked Sam about, whether or not Ghai and Ethan are still going to be a team. Probably not. He's probably going to take Ethan and team him up with somebody else for the tag tournament. I mean, honestly, I think that's his best bet at this point. Unless Ghai can kind of pull himself out of this character a little bit when he's inside the matches, I just don't think that it's going to go very well. I really don't think it's going to go very well. And the guy just dropped out of the stream. I was like I understand he's still working that character, but I worry. I worry that his career here is done. Especially after these 2 blows to his stats when it comes to the 2 Bateman matches. 2 knockouts here. Like, it makes me wonder, will he ever want to face off against Bateman again if he sticks around in the Schmoedown? I don't know. I really hope that all of this storyline pays off in some way. We're getting, he's doing all this Schmoeminati stuff, and he's acting fucking nutbags. And I just really hope that it somewhere down the road pays off in some way. I don't know. But so we're done with that match, and we're going to get into the main event, the final match of the week, and that is Chris Jericho versus Kevin Smith, the highly anticipated celebrity match, more than just a celebrity match, really, because they are faction members. And holy shit, was this a damn good match. I loved it. I got to know, does Jericho actually own a platypus? And is it in his backyard? I need to know. These are questions that fans need to know. And what are the 12 foods that start with the letter Q? I'm interested in finding out. I hope you are too. If you know, hit me up in the comments because I'd love to know. And another thing I thought was pretty funny before we get into the actual match itself, Kevin Smith wearing a Chris Jericho t-shirt. Hilarious. It was great. So we get into round 1, and someone in this league would have challenged that Jericho wrote the word hour instead of writing rush hour. Like, he pulls the book over that says rush on it, and he holds up his piece of paper that just says hour. He didn't actually write rush hour. I'm just saying he didn't write it, and they thought it was hilarious. And so they're like, sure, okay, cool, sure. But I could tell you what, there are a few people in this league who would have challenged the fuck out of that. But like, motherfucker, you didn't write rush hour on that piece of fucking paper. You don't get it. Whether it would have been upheld or not, I don't know. But I guarantee you there's people who would have challenged that. And so Jericho had a rough round. Yeah, he got that rush hour question, but he still had a rough round here. But as we've seen, as I keep saying, doesn't mean much anymore. 7-4 coming out of this. We've seen matches just like this. This is, I believe, exactly where Mike Kalinowski was. 7-4 coming out of round 1. Then we get into round 2. This is where things happen. So we get Kevin Smith is on the wheel. I wasn't sure if that would happen. I really thought that they wouldn't do that. Let's see. Christian says how important and serious this match was for points and all that. Yes. Yeah. They treated it like they treat most of their celebrity matches, as opposed to a normal actual match. And I understand they wanted to have some fun and maybe not scare off new potential viewers, but like, oh, hey, this is fun or something. I don't know. Things are so fucking different in other matches, though. They're not. Most matches do not nearly have the amount of fun energy that this match had. It's just the way, that's just how it is. They just don't. But yeah, so Kevin Smith on the wheel, which I was like, really? Okay. Matt and Ben on the wheel, which I was like, huh. Now, I need to know, did Kevin pick? Where was he able to pick these categories? Because obviously, Kevin Smith, Matt, and Ben, I think those are strengths that he would have. Also, comic book movies on the wheel. That's at least 3 solid strengths for Kev on the wheel. Thankfully, I'll be honest, I'm glad he didn't get any of those. I'm glad that I'm actually glad he spun opponent's choice. And they gave him Meg Ryan because it showed that he didn't need those categories. He didn't need to rely on those. And as we see later on, maybe it was almost a detriment to him to have that on the wheel. But anyways, like I said, he spun opponent's choice. They give him Meg Ryan, and he does pretty good here. He gets 6 out of 8. He does give up a 2-point steal, though. He just answers a question. Now, I'm wondering if he actually thought that was the answer. If he actually thought "You've Got Mail" was the answer to that question, or if he just forgot that he could have gone multiple choice. Because I'm wondering if he had gone multiple choice, would he have gotten Sleepless in Seattle? Then there would have been no sudden death round. It would have ended where, right at the end of round 3, it would have been 3 points. I think he would have had 3 points more because Jericho would have had 2 points less. He would have had 1 higher. So yeah, it would have been a 3-point difference there. So I don't know. If wishes were fishes, the world would be an ocean and shit like that. Who the fuck knows what would have happened? You never know. And like I always say, every point matters. It really does. So Jericho spins. He gets disaster films. Decides he doesn't want that. And then he lands on opponent's fucking choice, man. And I really think they should have just gave him disaster films. I don't know. I think they talked themselves out of it. Kevin was so he was too in the mindset of having a category that he would be good at so that he could get steals instead of trying to find a category that Chris would be bad at. And so, because he said that he'd probably fare well in Kevin Smith. And he does, he gets Kevin Smith and he winds up getting all of the questions. He doesn't give up any steals. He gets 7 out of 8 points here. He only has to go to multiple choice once. And it's on that live free or die hard question where he answers it, live free to die hard. Even though he claims, Jericho says, I only said what Bill S. Preston Esquire said. And that's not true because Ellis said it correctly when he read the answers. I heard it both times when I watched it during the watch along. I made sure to listen for that because of that specific line that he said. And then Coy said, maybe I should have challenged it, but we didn't want to win that way. And I'll be honest with you, Roxy would have fucking jumped on that. If Kev had said, live free to die hard, I mean, he wouldn't have. But if he had, Roxy Stryer would have fucking jumped on that like a goddamn leopard taking down a gazelle. She would have been all fucking over that. And that could have cost them the match. If Coy had challenged it and it had been upheld, he wouldn't have gotten the point for that. Whether they would have actually given Kevin the opportunity to steal it, maybe. I don't know how that would have worked because, I mean, they're essentially giving away the answer. But even if they just took the point away, that the match would have been over at the end of round 3. But that's again, not the case there. So Jericho comes from that 3-point deficit, just like we saw in the Mike and Perri match, and pretty much like we saw in the Del Rio Chance match. I mean, that was a 2-point deficit, but still, that the deficit player comes up and ties the game. That's 3 times this week that we've seen that, and that's fucking nuts. Again, it proves, once is a coincidence. 2, once is a happening. Twice is a coincidence, but 3 times, that shit means something. And it's tied now 13-13, so it's anybody's fucking game. But this is exactly what I wanted from this game. I wanted so desperately for this to be a great game, because if this had been the Ghai Bateman match and Jericho had gotten fucking smoked, I would have been so fucking disappointed, because I was disappointed in that Ghai Bateman match. I really was. I wanted it to be a fucking epic match, and it just wasn't. But this one has turned out to be a damn good match so far. And we get into round 3, and I'll be honest, I need a shirt that says Jericho's totally awesome. And speaking of shirts, I forgot to show this. I got my corruption shirt in the mail, and I am officially wearing it on this episode. It is a beautiful shirt. I fucking love it. Yes. Thank you, Skybound and Attack Peter, because that's who's the designer of that one. It's fantastic. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, definitely, Jay. Great matches all week for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, my brackets are always fucking busted, man. I'm always like, yes, I think I got a good bracket this year. First round every time. Doesn't fucking matter. I always get fucked in the first round of every tournament that I've ever filled out a bracket for. Is what it is. Yeah, so we get into round number 3, and like I said, this entire match has just been something special. It hasn't been the most highest scoring match, but it's been fucking fun to watch. The energy that these two guys give off throughout the whole thing, man, I would watch the two of them play every fucking week. I would literally watch that all the time. But so in round 3, not so great for them, but the tension is there because they both hit their 3-point questions, and that's it. They both missed their 2s, they missed their 5s, so it remains tied 16-16. Fucking Kevin over here missing his 5-point question. Bruce fucking Willis, man. Like, come on, man. And as I said in the watch along, Brian Ward needs to make a series of posters for all the a bunch of different Bruce Willis movies. Die Hard, fucking do Cop Out. That would be pretty goddamn funny. All these Bruce Willis movies, the Sixth Sense, all these movies, and replace him with James Gandolfini in these posters. It would be hilarious, and I would love it. I would fucking save every one of those and just flip through them every once in a while, because that would be great. If I had enough talent to do that, I would do it myself, but I really don't. All right, so we get into sudden death, and this goes deep, man. We go 4 rounds into sudden death before Kevin Smith takes the win here on a comic book question about Batman Returns, nonetheless. But I love that how Kevin thought that he misheard the question because he was so sure Jericho would have gotten the question correct. There was no doubt in his mind that Jericho was that he was gonna get it right. You know what I mean? He absolutely thought he was gonna get it right. And so he thought he got it wrong because he was like, what was the question? And then Mark's like, what was your answer? What was the question? I'm going to play tennis with you. What was your answer? It was really funny, the back and forth there. But, yeah, Kevin got it. He got the penguin. Got it correct. And he won, getting 2 points here for the Quirky Mercs, winning 20-19. Damn good match. You know what I mean? I feel like it lived up to what we wanted it to be. I mean, it wasn't a blowout or anything like that on either side, but it was damn good. And Kevin apparently wants Dan Murrell. He's got some lofty goals here, wanting the champ already. But I'll be honest, I just want to see him have some more matches. I don't care who they're against for the most part. Like I said, I'd be down with him and Jericho again, personally. Him and Brett Sheridan would be hilarious. I think it would just be a fun match. Christian on the Movie Trivia Schmoedown Facebook group, he put out a poll saying, who would you rather see Kevin Smith, or who would you rather see the winner of the Smith-Jericho match, because he didn't want to give spoilers, play next. And it was the Warfather or Brett Sheridan. I voted for Brett Sheridan. I said that the Warfather would probably be the better match, but that Sheridan would be the more entertaining match. And I wholeheartedly still believe that, because Brett is great. Even if Brett plays once a year, dude, make it that fucking match right there. The other match that I would love to see would be Kevin Smith versus Rachel Silvestrini in a Kevin Smith exhibition match. It would be fucking awesome. Awesome to see. And she's said before that she wants to do it. So I really hope that Christian makes that happen. I think it would be fucking great. All right. So we are that's it for the matches, guys. So we're going to get into the current faction standings here. All right. So down at the bottom, still down at the bottom with 9 points, we've got the usual suspects. Sam Levine's team just not able to pull it out here. They've been riding the bottom pretty much the whole time. It's unfortunately, it's just, I don't know what it's going to take, but I hope that Sam can turn things around, maybe with Ethan. We'll see. Then sitting at number 8, we got the Burning Droogs with 12 points. Number 7, we got the Rockstars with 15. At 6, we've got the Dungeon with 17 points. Then at 5, the Den has slowly worked their way back down the list with 20 points. The Quirky Mercs rising up with 22. Then a big gap of 13-point gap between number 4 and number 3. Number 3 being Swag with 35. The number 2, the Finstock Exchange, climbing just above the Finstock, or just above Swag. They also have 35, but they're not tied because the Finstock Exchange has one more win over Swag, and that is how they build these faction standings. So if Swag can, get another win, Finstock, lose out a little bit, we'll see. It all depends on that. So fucking close just because of that. And then taking that number 1 spot, Corruption. From last to first, Corruption is here with 38 points. I smell a documentary in the works about Corruption, man. The rise of Corruption. I love it. I think it's fan-fucking-tastic. And let me know what you guys think. You can either hop in the comments here, or you can follow me on Twitter right down there at MovieBlogMerc. Let me know your thoughts on all these matches, on these faction standings, or you can hop onto anchor.fm/MovieBlogMerc and leave me a voice message. I think that would be fantastic. I'll play it right here on air, and it would be great. All right, so Next up is the schedule for this week's matches. We've already had 2 happen. We had Liz Shannon Miller versus Rachel Silvestrini happened yesterday. And then Jeff Snyder versus Robert Montano of Late to the Party fame happened earlier today. Then tomorrow we've got The Barbarian versus Whitney Seibold. And on Thursday, Mark Riley versus Video Drew. I gotta say, I'm kind of excited to see Video Drew back in action. It's been a while. We've seen Tom. Now it's time to see Video Drew. All right. That's not all. There is more stuff. A new exhibition match has dropped on Patreon. If you're a $10 and up patron, you can check that out. If you are $5 and up, I think you'll get it next week, and then the rest of the patrons the week after. But we've got the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe Championship exhibition match with Sean Gerber, Jay Washington, our boy Winston Marshall, and Eric Zipper. That's right. I'm so excited to watch this match. I haven't gotten a chance yet. Been prepping a whole lot of other stuff, but I am so excited to check this one out. From what I understand, it's a good one. Yeah, damn good one. And if you haven't yet checked it out, head on over to the YouTube channel for Merc the Movie Blog and check out Watchin' Schmoedown, my very first watch-along video where I did a reaction to the current Schmoedown Throwdown that just happened with Ghai Bateman and Kevin Smith, Chris Jericho. It was a good time. It's not something I'm going to do all the time. I know maybe just for like big matches, things like that. Like I see some of these people like C-Dub, Chris Woodburn, man, that guy, he's dedicated. He he does reactions to like every fucking match, man. I can't do it. I couldn't do it, but that's awesome, dude. I rock on. You keep rocking. But yeah, every once in a while, some big matches come up. I might do it for the Dan Murrell, Ben Bateman one. I think that might be a good one for the championship match. Definitely will probably do it for Spectacular, just because, because it's fucking spectacular. Why not, right? But yeah, so that wraps everything up for me. I am your host, Josh the Merc Raynor, owner of Merc with Movie Blog. This has been episode number 55 of Talkin Schmoedown. Please be sure to head over to Twitter at Movie Blog Merc. Hit that like button, hit that follow button, like some posts, do what you got to do. Hit me up there. I'm on Twitter all the fucking time. So you ever need to reach out, I'll be there. Also, Facebook and YouTube at Merc with a Movie Blog. And you can check out my website, mercwithamovieblog.com. I'll be doing some reviews coming up. I'm going to be reviewing Bill and Ted, the new Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted Face the Music, I believe is what it's called, as well as some other stuff going on hopefully soon there. So, once again, thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Talkin Schmoedown. And hey, as I say every week, we have been Talkin Schmoedown. Catch you next time, everybody.